In general, we'd like the ratio between texels and pixels to be around 1 to 1. If the texels cover too many pixels, we'll get blurring, as we saw in the previous lesson. This isn't so bad for real textures, so erring a bit on the side of smaller textures is not the worst crime you can commit. If a pixel covers too many texels, we get minification, which leads to different problems. For a high-resolution checker texture, it simply causes the edges to become sharp. However, the problem is much worse than this under normal viewing conditions. Changing the texture resolution does not help. When a pixel covers more than one texel, minification occurs. This is what's happening in the distance. There's a separate filter on the texture for this situation. The reason it's separate is that this problem has a different solution. Currently, this minification filter is set to be nearest neighbor. As we saw for magnification, this is usually a bad choice. Let's turn on bilinear interpolation for the minification filter too. This helps a little bit towards the middle of the image, but not much. The problem is that each pixel in the distance covers a few texels. As we get closer and closer to the horizon, the number of texels per pixel increases. When the fragment shader looks up what's in the texture, it gets whatever texel happens to be at the center of the pixel. At the horizon, this selection is almost random, so we get noise as we vary between white and black texels. Even with bilinear interpolation on, it's still just noise. With magnification, we found that too many pixels covering one texel caused blurring. Getting this ratio closer to 1 to 1 made things just right. Here we have too many texels in one pixel. One solution is to go in the opposite direction than we went for magnification. Instead of making our checkerboard have a larger and larger resolution, we'd like it if the distant pixels used a lower resolution texture. This would bring the ratio of texels to pixels about back to 1 to 1. I can show this by lowering the resolution of the texture. I'll say it again, the video may not show much difference as these videos are heavily compressed so that they're quicker to download. Your best bet is to try this demo out for yourself. It follows this lesson. Anyway, changing the resolution helps a bit towards the middle of the image, since these pixels have more and more texels as we move to the horizon. Blurriness is much better than noisiness, especially when moving the view around. Things still look terrible on the horizon because every pixel in that area covers so many texels that even our 2x2 texel image fails. If we go to a 1x1 checkerboard pattern, that might help a bit. What in the world is a 1x1 checkerboard? Well, it's just a single checker square, a single texel. Since I can't put both black and white in this texel, I make this texel gray. Choosing this texture is like the nuclear option. The horizon looks better than noise, but now everything is gray. To sum up, at some point near the horizon there are just too many texels to pixels, so to avoid noise we go to gray. Try the demo yourself at this point and see how changing the texel to pixel ratio affects the image.